Family murder in Tokyo where the killer stayed but not found. Hello and welcome back to the Passport to Crime podcast, hosted by me, Oakley. If you're returning, thank you for being part of this journey. Your curiosity, your compassion, and your commitment to justice are what keeps these stories alive. And if you're new here, welcome. This is a space where we cross borders and timelines to explore the crimes that shook communities, challenged investigators, and left behind echoes that still demand answers. Today, we're travelling to Tokyo, Japan. But not the Tokyo of neon lights and bustling crosswalks, not the Tokyo of vending machines and bullet trains. We're stepping into a quieter part of the city, Setagaya Ward. It's late December, and the air is crisp, almost ceremonial. The skies are soft, a wintry grey. There's a hush over the streets, broken only by the distant hum of traffic and the rustle of dry leaves. Tokyo in winter is reflective and reverent. And in this stillness, we revisit one of the most haunting unsolved cases in Japanese history. Let's take a look at the brief overview of today's case. On the night of December 30th, year 2000, the Miyazawa family, father Mikio, mother Yasuko, daughter Niina and son Rei were murdered in their home in Kamishiogaya, Setagaya. The killer didn't flee immediately. They lingered, ate food, used the family's computer, left behind fingerprints, and left DNA and clothing. And yet, despite all of this overwhelming evidence, the case still remains unsolved many years later. But before we begin, a quick disclaimer. Before we go deeper, this is a quick reminder that the content discussed in today's case contains descriptions of violence, including the murder of children. Listener discretion is strongly advised. I approach this case with deep respect for the victims and their loved ones. Our goal is not to sensationalize tragedy, but to understand and to remember. With that being said, let me set the scene. Setagaya is a residential ward in western Tokyo, known for its parks, quiet streets, and family homes. The Miyazawa residence was located near Soshigaya Park, in a neighbourhood partially slated for redevelopment. Many homes around them had already been vacated, leaving the family somewhat isolated. Mikio Miyazawa was a marketing executive at Interbrand, a global branding firm. Yasuko was a teacher and homemaker. Their children, Niina and Rei, were bright, joyful and deeply loved. The family was close-knit, known for their warmth, their routines, and their quiet life. They were by all accounts ordinary, and that's what makes what happened so extraordinary. Now let's take a look at the actual crime. Sometime between 11:30 p.m. and 12 a.m, an intruder entered the Miyazawa home. Mikio was attacked first, stabbed multiple times, likely after confronting the killer. Yasuko and Niina were found upstairs, their injuries suggesting they had tried to protect each other. Rei, just 6 years old, was killed in his sleep. The weapon was a sashimi knife, later found broken at the scene. But what followed was even more disturbing. The killer didn't leave. They stayed for hours, ate ice cream from the freezer, used the family's computer to access the internet, left feces in the toilet without flushing, changed clothes, took a nap. It was as if they felt no urgency to leave, and definitely no fear. The murderer also left behind a hit bag filled with sand, traced back to a skate park in Santa Ana, California. Clothing items purchased in Japan, fingerprints, DNA, shoe prints, even a trace of cologne. Investigators believe the killer was of mixed East Asian descent, possibly Korean and Southern European. But despite this wealth of evidence, no match has ever been found to this day. Let's take a look at the theories and investigations that surround this case. Theories range from a botched robbery to a personal vendetta. Some speculate the killer was a transient, possibly mentally ill. Others believe it was someone with military training given the precision of the attacks and the lack of hesitation. The presence of foreign sand and clothing has led to speculation about the international connections, but nothing has ever been confirmed. The Tokyo Metropolitan Police have poured thousands of hours into the case. They tested over 1 million DNA samples, released composite sketches, and reconstructed the crime scene. But the killer still remains a ghost. So let's take a look at the cultural context behind this case. In Japan, violent crime is very rare, especially crimes of this magnitude. The Setagaya murders shook the nation. They challenged the perception of safety, of privacy, at home, and they left a scar on Tokyo's collective psyche. The Miyazawa home was eventually demolished. A memorial stands tended to quietly by neighbours and strangers alike. Every year, on December 30th, flowers appear. People remember. So let's take a look at the emotional reflection of today's case. What makes this case so harrowing isn't just the brutality, it's the intimacy. The killer didn't just invade a home, they inhabited it. They lingered. They left behind not just clues, but presence. And in doing so, they etched themselves into the fabric of Tokyo's memory. For me, this is a case that is a reminder of how fragile safety can truly be. How quickly the ordinary can become unthinkable, and how even in the face of silence we must keep asking questions. So what are some of the unanswered questions about this case? Why did the killer choose this family? Was it random or something deeper? Why did they stay so long? Why leave behind so much evidence? Was it arrogance, a cry for help, or something more ritualistic? And there are more theories that the killer may have had a connection to the neighbourhood, that they knew the family, that they were watching, but nothing has ever been proven. The Setagaya murders remains one of Japan's most perplexing cold cases, and while justice has yet to be served, the Miyazawa family is not forgotten. Their stories continue to echo through investigators, through artists, and through all of us who refuse to let silence win. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Passport to Crime podcast. If this story moved you, I invite you to share it, discuss it, and keep in memory of the Miyazawa family alive. You've been listening to the Passport to Crime podcast, hosted by me, Oakley. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and never stop asking why. And keep your passports at the ready for the unknown. If you want more of the Passport to Crime podcast, check us out on Instagram at the Passport to Crime podcast. And if you're not already, please like and subscribe to our channel.